Man is running for Congress, Illinois 12th. His name is Mike Bost. You might be familiar with him. You'll be more familiar with him after we talk with him. Mike, good morning to you.
Hey, Scott. How are you? It's good. Thanks for being here.
Hey, here's the deal. We just came off giving away our John Mellencamp tickets, and we made our winners sing to win the Mellencamp tickets, and we thought that might be a good thing. Somebody's running for office, we make them sing a little tune before we talk to them. You got anything?
I actually think that probably the voting public is singing a sad tune right now, but
well, we've got. The first time we heard about you, Mike, and we follow Springfield, of course, but that footage from 2012, a little rant from Mike Bost on the floor after Mike Madigan had dropped a 200-page bill, wanted to vote in a couple of hours.
198-page bill. We had been working on a bill that everybody had agreed upon. For about a year and a half, and then with the last day, while we were going to hear it in committee, a half hour before the committee, I'm walking up the steps and I asked our staffer. I said, "Okay, I need some my highlights of the bill. I know what we were dealing with on this and that." He said, "No, they changed it." I said, "When?" He said, "In the middle of the night." I said, "Who changed it?" He said, "Mike Madigan changed it." And I said, "We got to have this in committee in half an hour." He said, "Yeah." I said, "What's in the bill?" He said, "We don't know yet. They got it 10 minutes before committee." That's not the way government is supposed to set up to run. And the frustration then moved from the committee onto the floor, and I think it was finally time that the people understood what is going on in the state of Illinois, as well as, you got to realize 2 weeks before this, Nancy Pelosi had said that she wanted to vote a bill out so we could find out what it does.
Mm-hmm.
So that frustration is what, from what we're understanding from people, what I expressed is what I believe the constituents are feeling as well.
I thought it was an outstanding rant. I thought you went off and expressed the feelings that many of us feel as we don't have to deal with it, up close and personal, at least in the paperwork level that you do. But, as citizens, we have to live through it. So, I think maybe you spoke for more people than you realize.
Well, in a representative form of government, your representative should have the opportunity to represent your views. If you have one person that has power and control like that, and also when we deal with that with the leadership, whether it's in D.C. or the state level, and they don't follow the rules under the Constitution or the rules that are set forth, then we end up with government ran by people that don't answer to the voting public. And I think it's about time that the voters took it back.
Mike Bost with us, running for Congress down in Illinois' 12th District, downstate, bostforcongress.com. This is one of the few seats. Republicans did so well a few years ago in 2010, held those games for the most part 2012, and now there are only a couple of seats that have the potential to really flip from blue to red. This is absolutely one of them, Illinois' 12th Congressional District. What convinced you to get into this race, Mike?
Well, I just talked about the fact that Nancy Pelosi and what she said, and then to continue to watch as the House of Representatives in D.C. try to push bills that are sensible, and then they're not taken up in the Senate. That's the exact same thing that's been going on in the state of Illinois. And reality is with the chief executive officer that we moved from Illinois to D.C.,
mm-hmm.
same thing, ignoring the Constitution and saying, no, I can just do this way. Well, I've got 9 grandkids, and I could have sat back and said, okay, never mind, I'll let somebody else handle it. Or I could go and try to argue the point that what our forefathers put in place when they created the Constitution and this great country, and the ability of each voter to have an impact, has got to be fought for. And so through a lot of prayer and a lot of decision-making with my family, we decided that it was definitely time to run.
Now, Mike, back to I don't even like to really call it a rant. I think it was a much-needed exclamation point on the day. I've seen people seize on this going, well, we can't have a guy with a temperament like that going to Congress, although I completely disagree with that. But, from everything I've read about you, that was more the exception than the rule to the way you conduct yourself.
Yeah, the reality is I'm a grandfather of 9. father of three. I deal with issues, and every day I work side by side with both parties to move bills forward and have for many years. But when someone, and there's about three things that'll stir me up and should stir the voter up as well. When somebody takes away the right of the elected official to represent their district constituency, that upsets me. And if somebody wants to violate our Constitution, then I'm going to stand up and argue with them to make sure that the Constitution is obeyed. The other thing is, probably, and if you're a parent, you understand, don't do anything to hurt my kids.
Yep. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not a common thing for me to. No, matter of fact, I've been in the legislature a long time, and finally, people had to realize what we were facing, and it could have went very bad. But as it was, I said exactly what I needed to say, and people heard it.
Mike Bost with us, candidate for the 12th District Congressional seat here in Illinois. BostForCongress.com. It's Riley and Scott on WROK. You mentioned don't hurt my kids, don't hurt our kids, and yet when we continue to spend about $1 trillion more than we bring in each year, that's what we're doing, saddling kids, grandkids with our spending. How do we even begin, Mike, to get to a balanced budget and to begin paying down and getting this $17 trillion debt under control?
Well, that's you just said it. We've got to be wise in our spending, and we've got to bring back the economy of the United States. We've got to make sure, right now we have certain tariffs and rules that are not being implemented that allow for foreign governments to dump certain products into our markets. We have also put ourselves in an uncompetitive advantage when it comes to the use of our fossil fuels. The EPA has be able to just run amok on us as far as small business and large business alike. And yet we're trying to compete in a worldwide market that doesn't have to abide by their rules. So one thing after another leads to the fact, if we put our economy back online, we create jobs, and we just calm our spending down and make sure the federal government does what it's supposed to do, which is protect our borders, deal with national defense and foreign trade, stay out of the operation of the business of state. And that could it's healthcare, and that includes education. Those things should be handled at the state level, because the locals should and could handle them better than anybody from D.C.
Well, and it might be argued, too, based upon the track record of the current administration, the three things you named that the Fed should do, state level could handle better, too.
Unfortunately. Yeah. But unfortunately, also in the Constitution, it says we should do that at the federal level.
Yeah. Mike Bost with us, candidate for Congress, 12th District, downstate Illinois. This is a district that absolutely could change from blue to red this November. BostForCongress.com. You're a small business guy, too, and you mentioned the economy and bringing jobs back. We just talked about a report from Federal Reserve survey that said businesses are being impacted, are cutting back jobs due to Obamacare. We know about the 50 employee threshold. It's a disincentive to grow. Once you get past 50, you're punished. We know about the 30-hour per week threshold. Once you work someone past 30 hours as a part-timer, it's a disincentive to have people working longer. So what do we do with Obamacare? A full repeal? Do we begin to work and fix the changes that need to be done? What are we going to do?
Let me tell you. I believe repeal and replace. Repeal and replace. Look, I understood what they were trying to do. They want to deal with pre-existing conditions. They want to deal with, make sure that it's affordable and portable. If you deal with pre-existing conditions at the state level, it does become affordable and portable very easily. Now, one thing that the federal government can be involved with is allowing for pooling of different groups. If a company owns multiple locations throughout the United States, then they should be able to take all their employees and put into one pool so that they can bring a reduced rate based on the insurance cost. Also, the same thing, and it doesn't matter whether it's an employee, there should be an ability to pool across state lines. If we put that in place and then allow the states to deal with the pre-existing conditions, And there is a way to do that, and I don't have time to explain all that this morning. But listen to the people who are involved in the business, not the politicians, and come up with a wise answer, not just a. Do you realize that the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, is if it's stacked on top of each other, the papers that are involved, the bill itself and the implementation, it's over 9.5 feet tall.
Well, just imagine if somebody'd read that.
Exactly.
Spending some time with Mike Bost, Bost for Congress, bostforcongress.com. Who do you have lining up with you on this, Mike? Where are you drawing some endorsements from?
Well, we're drawing endorsements from the U.S. Chamber, the State Chamber, NFIB. We have, I'm pro-life, so the pro-life groups. We have, the list goes on and on. I'm trying to remember all of them now. I wish I had them in front of me. Oh, Caterpillar, which is an existing company in the state of Illinois that, doesn't normally turn on incumbents, but we got there early. John Deere. I'm trying to remember them all. I myself am a firefighter, individual firefighter groups, so not the state as a whole or the federal, because they don't endorse, but we have several firefighters groups in the district. List goes on and on.
Got to imagine a few Marines are backing you too.
I hope so. I got one in particular that speaks for me, and not only am I a Marine, my son is a major in the Marine Corps, and he's now an active reserve, but he's a local here, and he's really good to send out to. If I can't make an event, to send him out. His mother did a great job of raising him in spite of me.
Does he pull rank on you ever?
Not yet.
Mike Bost with us here for another couple of minutes. Bostforcongress.com, Illinois' 12th district. It's Riley and Scott here on WROK. Energy independence is something that's important, I know, for your campaign, too. And we've talked a whole lot on the show with Mark Densler and others on the on fracking. You were chief negotiator for the Illinois Hydraulic Fracturing Regulation Act, which is still in limbo. This is so important for your part of the state, Mike, the kind of jobs that can be created, the kind of pay you can earn with the fracking industry, and it's on hold right now.
Let me tell you how great this is for the state of Illinois. First off, the amount of jobs that would be created, the people going to work, all of a sudden the increase in income tax, not because you've raised the tax level, but you've raised the amount of people working. That's a good way to raise taxes, by the way. The amount of products that are being created. Now, all of a sudden, you're generating sales tax. And then the severance tax that goes on that. The amount of money and the amount of prosperity that will occur by putting this bill in place, well, the bill's been passed. Unfortunately, it's Pat Quinn and his administration dragging their feet in the implementation and the overreaching of rules that we put in place to appease a left-wing group that if it was up to them, people should die and everything else should exist. Now, I know because I was in the negotiations with them. So this is an opportunity for the state of Illinois, through job growth, to raise itself up by the bootstraps and actually have a booming economy again. So of course, you also got to worry about what the federal government is going to do with it. That's always a fear.
There are many important races in the ballot in November. The gubernatorial race is important. Illinois 17th District, Bobby Schilling with an opportunity to get back to Washington. But again, downstate in the 12th Congressional District, chance for another blue to red seat. And that's Mike Bost running for Congress. Mike, if people want to help out in any way, shape, or form, is the website the best place to start for that?
The best place on the website. There you can get our number. You can donate online. You can be involved. We're looking for every volunteer that we possibly can. We're hitting the streets already. We're going to now understand the district stretches all the way from Alton to Cairo to Mount Vernon, and so it is all of the southern and western side of the state. And so, we're looking for help and support.
Well, people head right for the website and do just that. Mike, thanks a lot for taking time out of your day for us.
Appreciate it.
Have a great day.
We'll
Thanks,
talk
Mike.
again.
I'd like you to meet Jennifer Bishop.